We'll get to Rings of Power in a minute. Just hang in there. So Andy Serkis is doing this Lord of the Rings Hunt for Gollum film, which is supposed to tie into the Peter Jackson films. This is going to be an adaptation from the books, and it takes place during the time in Fellowship of the Ring when Gandalf leaves to go study the ring at Minas Tirith. You know, there's like a 17-year gap between when he leaves the Shire and returns. It's a long time. The movies make time pass quickly, but it's almost 2 decades. And in that time, Gandalf sends Aragorn to go find Gollum to get information out of him about the One Ring. I'm cool with this. A Gandalf, Aragorn, Gollum adventure? That sounds fun. And they're working to get the original cast on board, too. So that's fun. And there's nothing that could go wrong with that, right? Hunt for Gollum is 2 movies. The story is like 10 pages long. Friends, I'm done with Tolkien adaptations. Hello, my friends, and welcome to The Pondering. I am the real-life fake wizard. If this video brings you any value at all, I invite you to subscribe to this channel where we're posting new videos nearly every day. Okay, look, I've tried to make content about Rings of Power. I figured I could do a play-by-play of the episodes each week like I had done with The Acolyte. If you've seen any of my previous Rings of Power videos, you know how much I hate this show's runtime. Every episode is over an hour long. Nothing happens. And what does happen is so minuscule, so offensively predictable, so aggressively mediocre that I just hate every minute I have to sit through it. And conversely, I realize that the videos that I'm doing are not nearly as passionate or fun as when I had done The Acolyte. I dread having to make Rings of Power episode videos, and that's not fair to me, and that's not fair to you. I love Tolkien's work. I love many of the video games. I love the Peter Jackson films. Even the Hobbits, with all their faults, are still ridiculously better than this show. So I'm not going to do any more week-to-week reviews after this one today, and even this one is going to be more condensed. If you want fantastic, in-depth Rings of Power reviews, go check out Disparu. That dude is fantastic. You know what's wild? This 5th episode was the best of the series so far, and it is also my exit point. The show is split into many stories going on all at once, so the moment any one of them becomes remotely interesting, it cuts away to someone else with something else going on, and the scene needs to ramp up again. Rings of Power has this thing of when it cuts to new scenes, it just takes forever to get anywhere, for anything to happen. And then, what does happen is the most predictable sequence of events. Even a child could guess what's about to happen. And that predictability, plus investment of time required, to anyone like me, who judges films for every minute they go over 90 minutes, is not a good match. The Rings of Power is not for fantasy nerds or D&D nerds. This is not for Tolkien fans. I'm not even sure this is for literary fans in general. This show is written for people who are into shipping and strange fan fiction. But moreover, it's made using plot lines and character motivations not really out of the Tolkien books, instead taken out of shows like Vampire Diaries or 90210 or even Days of Our Lives. It's more about sitting around and playing with character emotions and how they feel versus what they're doing and why they're doing it. And I'm not trying to besmirch Vampire Diaries. I watched the Vampire Diaries and I enjoyed many of the seasons I watched. Because you know what it is you're watching. I expect there to be relationship and Joni loves Chachi nonsense. I expect characters to clutch their pearls and get easily offended at simple misunderstandings, because that's what the show's identity is based in. The show is based in feminine emotional story beats. Those shows are for women. That's the target market. There's nothing wrong with that at all in any way, but taking those elements and cramming them forcefully, not gently, into a Tolkien adaptation is unwarranted and unwelcome and not for me. Even the marketing surrounding this show is playing into this shipping angle. The Daily Beast covers Sauron on Rings of Power is officially TV's greatest villain. Well, that's a bold claim, and you'd be wrong. Charlie Vickers carries the show, but that's not saying much, since the show gives him hardly anything to do. This season has him primarily in the exact same room, standing in the exact same spot each episode, just gaslighting the elves. That's all he does. Episode 5 is no different. Is he interesting and a good actor? Absolutely. I hope to see Vickers in something more interesting in the future, but to claim that he's TV's greatest villain, Bro, he's barely in the damn show. The last 3 episodes hardly have him in it. We spend more time with the incompetent Numenorians doing nothing of real substance each week, when I'd rather us focus on the conflict with the elves or not Gandalf. There's a moment with the Numenorians this week that I thought was brilliant, and that's what lost me forever. And it's something that happens with Pharazôn, who has seemingly usurped his blind cousin for the throne. And he's standing there with his weasel son looking off in the distance, and he remarks about the tower placed by the elves to mark the crossover point into Valinor, the Undying Lands. And he sees this as a slight against men, that the men will see it every time they look at the sunset, a reminder that men see the sunset, that mortal men are doomed to die and the elves are not. This is interesting. This is deep. These are the ideas I want to have discussed and explored. And this moment is instantaneously wrecked when they cut to predictable plot beats through the rest of the episode of his son being a weaselly little shit, all using tropes of weasel characters you've seen in every show before. This was it for me. I'm done. Amazon's marketing strategy is to try to fool you with their 40 million viewers in 11 days, but these numbers don't add up or show us the per episode views. We already know there's a 63% drop off in viewership from seasons 1 to 2, and on top of that, we have the marketing department continually pushing this shipping and perverted narrative on Twitter, playing into weird, gross perverts who just want to see the characters bang. It's really weird. I don't know how that's gonna win back viewers, or maybe, just maybe, they don't care about winning back viewers because they're happy with the audience they've got, because that's who this show is for. It's not for me, it's probably not for you. And I know I just don't care anymore, and that's not for a lack of trying. Maybe we'll do a post-mortem after the season ends, but I'm not doing any more of these episode recaps. I'd rather spend my time bringing you videos with actual actionable takeaways that bring you real value. And talking about value, do not give this show your time if you dislike it as much as I do. Do not give them watch hours. Just watch a couple of YouTubers instead that actually do bring you value. My friends, I want to thank you for joining me for this Pondering special. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you're new here and you want to see more of me covering more things that are actually fun, consider hitting the subscribe button. And until next time, create, innovate, inspire. May the contrived thread of destiny be with you. And for the love of God, cancel Disney Plus. You could leave now. That's it. Video's over. Get out of my office.